Hello, it's me again. You can probably just barely see me.
BLS 14.
Get the Christmas lights going.
BLS 14. BLS 14 on scene with engine 17. BLS 14 on scene 22. So.
So there you get the idea. Oh. Out having my cigar. Don't know if you can see my shirt. Anyway, it says legalize recreational nukes. One of my funny shirts I got a while back.
37 upgraded, 10420 Goya Creek Boulevard, 10420 Goya Creek Boulevard, Blue Sunfish Court, male GPSing at the listed 1020, advising he's chasing 5 or 6 teens who were running down the road trying to 21 into houses. They were in complaint's backyard. Neighbor told the complaint kids were at his house, two going through the backyard looking through
People
the
trying
windows
to
to meet 6
break into
subjects,
houses, it
black
looks
male,
like.
2 black females.
Not in my neighborhood, but somewhere around.
3 Juliet 16.
So I wanted to
3 Juliet 17.
do part 2 of the Charlie Kirk
Shifting units 51. 3 Juliet.
video. And it's interesting because I just posted a comment on another video about
3 Juliet 16.
how Charlie
17 reference recall.
came
One of
out
the
against
subjects
Israel,
has a baseball bat.
and
22 on our.
I don't know if I said something about Israel having something to do with what happened to Charlie, and
Those were the 4
somebody said, you go ahead and leave those wild conspiracy theories. And I says, the problem with conspiracy theories is 99% of them turn out to be right. There's a couple of new videos that come out that I haven't watched them, but supposedly that show, I don't want to say proof, but maybe evidence that the feds were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, which anything's possible.
Updated 1027 River Green Drive, Boyette Creek Boulevard, River Green, and Boyette Creek.
But the thing is, you know, this is dividing the MAGA movement, the Republican movement, and a lot of the younger conservative MAGA people they're not against the Israeli people. They're just sick of giving billions and billions of dollars to a country that has committed the war crimes that Israel has done.
I was just updating you guys with the comment. It looks like
Funding their Israeli war machine. And whatever you believe about Israel, I mean, it's pretty much, you know, proven that Netanyahu, I call him Nutty Yahoo, that he's as corrupt as they come. I mean, he's on trial by his own people. I mean, some people claim that, you know, it's the same thing like they did with Trump, but no, this guy is actually corrupt.
we still landline because we're 97, we're not
And,
staying higher.
Roosevelt Street, Bendy Avenue, advising camper parked for 2 days. The subject seems
I think it all ties in with this Epstein thing, because Israel is, Epstein was an Israeli agent. He, he worked with the IDF and probably provided women to him. Or should I say little girls. And that's why I think there's so much cover-up with Epstein, is not because Trump is involved. I firmly believe if Trump was involved with the Epstein thing, that the Democrats would have leaked that stuff all during the Biden years. And people are like, oh, well, they couldn't do that without exposing themselves. And yeah, they could. They could have leaked, if there was stuff on Trump, they could have leaked just the Trump stuff and kept everything else hid. I mean, they manufactured the whole Russian collusion bullcrap. What makes you think they wouldn't just leak this stuff about Trump? I mean, they're already here calling him a PDF, and he's not.
It looks like they went down
But
River
whatever.
Drive around
The thing is
That false drive. Time out 2213. 10-4, thank you.
you got the faction that I would say I agree with, maybe not 100%, but the faction that I agree most with is the Candace Owen, the Tucker Carlsons, and Ben Shapiro is a little pig, and he's the one that started it at this TPUSA event. He went off on Candace Owen, on Tucker, and as a Catholic, as a Christian, I'm not allowed to hate anybody, but I'll just use the words that Candace Owens used to Ben Shapiro: fuck you and the midget horse you rode in on. And he's just ruining Charlie's legacy, because he got mad at Tucker Carlson for having, I can't think of his name. I've mentioned him before in one of my videos. I'll look it up, and if I can't remember it, I'll look it up and post it on the description of the video. But he's I don't know, I guess he used to be MAGA. He's kind of upset with Trump now about the whole Israel thing. He's against the Israeli government, and so Ben Shapiro, of course, calls him an anti-Semite, and and he called Tucker an anti-Semite for having this guy on his show. And to me, these Jews Israelis calling people anti-Semites because they don't want to fund Israel in their genocide is the same thing as leftists calling all MAGA people racist. You know, if they want to shut you down, and that's what Ben Shapiro is doing. He wants to shut down and defund everybody that criticizes Israel. And then he comes off as this big free speech warrior. He's not a free speech warrior. He's an Israeli agent. And that's fine, but don't pretend you're MAGA. In fact, I think he should go and live in Israel, because that's where he belongs. And, you know, he's the one that famously said that, you know, if you don't want to send money to Israel, you're anti-Semitic, and if you can't afford to live on what you make, and you have a problem with sending money to Israel, then you should move someplace that you can afford. And that's what started my, let's just call it, irritation with him. And now he's ruining Charlie Kirk's legacy. It ain't Candace that's wrong. It ain't Tucker that's wrong. It's you. And deplatforming people just because they speak out against the government of Israel and their actions, and not wanting to fund them with our tax money, and then pretend to be free speech. If Ben Shapiro is the voice of the right, voice of MAGA, then I'm no longer right, I'm no longer MAGA. But regardless of all that, the problem is, you know, if we keep up this infighting like this, and it causes a big split, number one, we're going to get crushed in the midterms. And number two, we're going to get killed in 2028. And if these Democrats take over Congress in 2026, and if Kamala or this idiot governor in California or AOC or Crockett or whoever they put up for president wins, it's over for us. Because they've already said they're coming after all of us. They're going to put us in prison. They're going to, you know, deplatform any public conservatives. And they already did that with Trump. Didn't work, but, you know, they weren't, if Harris had won, I'm sure they would have put Trump in prison. So, we got to get our shit together. And yeah, I don't like supporting Israel. I don't like our tax money going to them. You know, if they want to start wars all around the world, and, you know, do it without our tax money. But if we have to live with that in order to, you know, elect Vance or whoever runs on the Republican side, they're going to be 1,000% better than if we screw this up and get a Democrat in there. Because they're going to play for keeps. So I don't know what the answer is, because us people that don't want to fund Israel have valid points. But, you know, the old guard, you know, the Ted Cruz's and Lindsey Graham's, and, you know, even Trump, they're all pro 100% Israel. But if the Democrats tend to be less in favor of Israel, but I mean, come on, even Biden, I mean, he wasn't as big of a supporter of Israel as Trump was, but he still gave him money. But even if the Democrats believed in taking away Israel's funding, that's not worth having this country torn apart like they would do. You know, first thing they got to do is shut down AIPAC. AIPAC should have to register as a foreign entity.
Big Ben and King Crossing Drive is going to be a Florida temporary tax.
And
Tango 69.
Congress critters shouldn't be able to take money from them.
Oh, Squad 14. Would you like us to proceed there?
Yes, yeah, it'll be tax.
Copy.
But
Thank you.
this is an argument that we can have, but I'm torn because it is an important issue, but so is keeping us all out of prison. I mean, would you rather be somewhat free and, you know, continue funding Israel's war? Or would you rather have no freedom of speech, be threatened with prison for posting memes on Facebook or social media, like it's happening in Canada, it's happening in Europe, and it'll happen here if the Democrats get their way. So,
2 males and 1 female involved, no weapons. So 1 male was beating on another male.
I also wanted to touch on this Dan Bongino situation. Bongino's another one. You know, he was on video.
Juliet 37, 1048 dispatch.
They asked him what issue is the most near and dear to his heart,
Hillsborough 3,
and
Juliet 37, Deputy
he
Powers,
said
did you copy?
Israel and the defense of Israel. And I'm shaking my head. The only
Juliet 37, I'm
The
still
only
on time
answer
machine
to
on Highway
that,
41.
if you're not going to say, you know, God or family, the only answer, the proper answer to that is the United States and the defense of the United States. Screw Israel.
725 Miracle Drive, Russell Bayberry Leaf Plate, 92.
But, you know, I had high hopes for him as the, what do you call him, deputy director of the FBI. But I think eventually he got fed up with it. I do think one of the biggest issues for Bongino is, you know, obviously he had his hugely successful podcast. I would watch it every day. You know, my mom and I we'd be up by 10:30 because he came on at 11 o'clock in the morning. You know, we'd get up 10:30 or at least by 11 o'clock, and we'd spend the hour listening to him. We'd both have our iPads on and have them, you know, both be listening to him. And I think he wants to get back to that because, Nick Fuentes, that's who I was thinking of, that he's the one that they called this big anti-Semite, and I actually agree with him on his Israel issue stuff, but I disagree a lot because he's pro-government health care. He has a lot of, you know, more liberal views, but he used to be MAGA anyway, but I don't think he likes Trump since he's pro-Israel. And so yeah, Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on his show, and that's what made Shapiro go crazy and call him a master anti-Semite or whatever. Yeah, he called him the N-word. N-A-Z-I, that N-word. I gotta be careful. And I just can't stand Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro also said, and I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, he said he would be for changing the law so that Netanyahu could be the president of the United States. I mean, come on. If Charlie Kirk was alive, that clown wouldn't be anywhere near TPUSA. And I believe that's why Charlie was offed like he was. But we'll probably never know until we reach heaven and find out everything. But the other thing with Dan Bongino, getting back to him, is he lives down here in Florida. And he's, of course, when he got the job with the FBI, he's got to live in Washington. And his family is down here, his wife and everything. And from what I heard him say, or I guess what he said, I don't know if it's on video or if somebody said it, but it sounds like Dan, from everything I know about him, is his wife is having a hard time with him gone all the time, which I totally get. I don't blame him one bit. So he wants to get back to his family. And, you know, just because I disagree with Dan about what he said about Israel doesn't mean I'm not going to watch him. I mean, he was one of the biggest warriors to help get Trump elected. And I think that one of the things he's thinking about is he can have a better impact helping MAGA keep the House, keep the Senate on his podcast than he can with the FBI. And I also think he's frustrated because, you know, all these investigations into the Democrat crimes are going absolutely nowhere, with Scam Bondi as AG. And a few months back, he posted something kind of disturbing that I don't remember his exact words, but it was like it bothered him that the things that he's seen, he had no idea things were this bad, and things are just this ingrained. And basically, he was saying the corruption is so bad that they're not going to be able to do anything about it. That's why, in a lot of ways, you know, I want to give Trump, you know, the benefit of the doubt, because I think he's trying, but the deep state is so ingrained that it's like fighting against the current. And people that he thought were on his side or against him. But on the other hand, I've heard people say things like, you know, during Trump's first term, he had regular people surrounding him. He had regular, everyday American people that were all around him. And this term, he has all these high-priced donors surrounding him. So, you know, is he doing this because of Israel? Is he doing this because he knows he can't run again after his term is over, and he needs, you know, huge donors as allies to, you know, keep him out of prison? You know, there's a lot of things we don't know. And not just him, but they're coming after his family, they're coming after his friends. I mean, look what they did to Rudy Giuliani, to all of his other friends that, you know, they sent him to prison, they fined him into bankruptcy, they you know, practiced lawfare against these people, so they have to go bankrupt paying for lawyers. And that's what scumbags these Democrats are, and that's what's going to happen if we lose the House and if we lose 2028. So, as much as I hate to say it, the worst Republican you can think of is better than the best Democrat you can think of. Maybe John Fetterman is probably the only good Democrat. And when he won, you know, I thought he was going to be the worst senator we ever had. I thought he was going to be a total and complete communist. But he's almost been MAGA. He's been more MAGA than some of the Republicans, so maybe he's the only Democrat I would, you know. And Fetterman said he's got family members that are MAGA, so he doesn't hate MAGA. He might disagree with them, but that's what this country used to be. We used to be a country where even if we disagreed with each other, we weren't trying to take the rights away. We're not trying to deplatform them. We weren't trying to put them in jail. We just say, hey, you know what? I disagree with you, and this is why, and we debate issues. And sometimes you find compromises, and that's just gone now.
25, I-4 westbound. We have nothing on east or westbound direction at that location. We're all the way up to the park exit.
And this country is worse off for it.
Anything further?
That's it, Mike. Anything about it, too?
And
No, that's it. So it's 9,
I mean, it's getting so that
Sorry, can you repeat?
9.
you know, factions within the Republican Party disagree on certain things,
Alright,
and we're attacking each other worse than we're attacking Democrats. And that's not going to help us. So am I going to continue to say what I believe about Israel and other issues? Yeah. But am I going to call out people like Ben Shapiro when they're completely against everything this country stands for? Yes. But we can't lose the big picture. And that is, we got to keep the Democrats out of power. Because if we don't, nothing else matters. So that's my politics. I'll probably combine these videos. The last video I said I'd do part 2 in a day or two. I decided to do it tonight because who knows what's going to happen the next day or two with Christmas coming and everything. I went to Mass today. I had a bad time this morning on the way to church. This guy was driving down the street near my house when I was going to church, and it was going like 30 in a 35 mile an hour zone, and he was brake checking me and everything, so I went around him on the in the breakdown lane, which wasn't very big or smart, because every so often they have these poles, because the breakdown lane is actually a golf cart lane. Used to be a 4-lane highway, and they took the 2 lanes out and made a golf cart lane that nobody uses. I've seen in the like 2 or 3 years they've had it, I've like seen maybe 4 golf carts, and all the time I've
We're all the way to the exit 19.
been there, and, but whatever. So I passed him, so I did go to confession, which
30 copy right there.
I'm not sure if anything was a mortal sin or anything, but I covered myself anyway. But Same thing on the way home, getting off the interstate
26 are going available.
and Ruskin around near where I live, the exit to get off to come to my house.
We're on I-4-831 on the exit.
This guy didn't know how to merge into traffic, and he like stopped in the middle of instead of merging, and I was trying to go around him because I was turning right, and
Respond to a fall at 1360.
he was in like
Mid-Lake Drive.
he was actually in the right lane, but there was another lane that was to the right that was to turn into like a shopping mall, and I tried to pass him in that lane. Of course, once you go past the intersection, the lane goes, so I couldn't make it in time, so I had to slam on my brakes, and so then I sped past him and went zipping up the hill, and luckily there was no cops around, but now I need to go to confession again.
6106 Bath Street, off of Railroad Street. We have looking like
I don't know if
voicemail callback showing it to 51.
yeah, I don't know if honestly, I don't know if it's a mortal sin. I mean, nobody got hurt, I don't even think I swore at the guy because I've been trying to cut down on my swearing. But in fact, the priest that I went to confession for, I mentioned my, swearing, and he says, what you should do is when you say bad words, make sure you say more good words. Like if you say bad words, go and compliment somebody, say a prayer for somebody, especially if you can, do it to the person that you're upset with. Like say, for instance, if I get upset with my mother and swore at her, which happens occasionally, more than it should, then, say, hey, I'm sorry, I love you, and, then you make saying good things more of a habit and use less of the bad words, and I like that. Especially, hold on a minute.
You need the engine call.
I'm a big,
Copy.
yeah, I guess you can say I'm a big gamer. I have a PS4, and the PS4 is the old system, and my favorite game is hockey. I'll play that game all year round, and I just love it because first of all, I love hockey, and it's one of the games I can start fights in, and release some of the pent up frustrations I have. And then they got in the game, they got the women's hockey players, the PWHL players, and you can play them in the NHL teams. So I'll have right now they might have added more, but they started off with 6 PWHL teams. So I've made 6 NHL teams are all female teams, and I didn't edit the size of the players, because that would have taken too much time. But I edited the attributes, so like everything they're like all 100 on, and so it's like impossible to beat the women teams. And and I'll play that. And but anyway, you can't get, because it's the old system. The PS4 is the old system. You can't get the new games anymore because they stopped making them because they got the PS5 that's out, and that's like over $500 for the PS5. Well, my mom got me the PS5 for Christmas, and it's like, wow, I didn't expect that. And I mean, she's a great mom. I love her so much. I mean, I hate when I get frustrated at her, but she understands. She gets frustrated at me too, so you know, it's a thing. But you know, I told her, I says, look, I says, I haven't got you anything yet for Christmas, so, because she said, well, at least you'll have a present under the tree. And I says, tell me what you want, I'll get you something for Christmas. And so she did. I came in today, so her present is there. We both know what we're getting. Of course, I bought my own game, my hockey game I got for the PS5, so I wrapped that up, a present from me, from me to me. And of course, my mom got me the system, so. So I'll have all the new schedule and the new players and everything. Because the other thing is, in addition to the PWHL players, you can also create your own players. Basically, that's how somebody spent the time to. Well, actually, the game already had PWHL players in it, because you can play PWHL League with just women's teams. So, but I'll make a team of just all my favorite female celebrities, and excuse me, I'll max out their height and weight. So like all the female celebrities that I like, they're all like 6'9", 290 pounds. And the first season that they had the females in the hockey game, they allowed the females to fight. Ever since then, they don't allow females to fight. So, because, I mean, it's weird because you can have them, you know, you can have them have fight skills and everything, and if you simulate the games, female games, they'll fight simulated, but you can't when you're playing a game yourself. So I guess, I don't know, I guess it's a whole thing with you know, politically correct. You know, they don't want men fighting women, or I don't understand why they wouldn't let women fight women, but they don't. But I mean, they'll have, you know, when you start a fight, there's like a button you push to start a fight, and the players will shake their gloves or take their stick and whack the other player to try to get them to fight. Or, you know, another thing, you can push the players to start a fight, and you can do all that, but they just won't drop the gloves and fight. But
Engine 47.
I mean, if you have the checking, you know, the hitting during the game settings, I mean, especially the female players that are like 6'9", 290,
Are they in the med clinic?
they'll crush you. They'll crush you. I mean, I just because I'm usually always the Bruins, and in my game I play the actual real Bruins players, so I had a game against the Bruins against one of my female teams today with the PS4, and I turned the injuries on. Usually I keep the injuries off because I want to like
US 14 at facility.
I check the Bruins rosters and make sure, you know, I'm pretty. The only thing I did do is I kept Marchand on the Bruins. To me, he's a Bruin and always will be, so I kept him on the Bruins. Which works out good because there's like one or two players that weren't on the team when the game was done, so I would have to like basically create the player, and I forgot to do that when I started the season. So, you know, Marchand takes the place of one of those players, and plus, back when this game was done, they only had, I think it's either 21 or 22 players allowed on the roster, on the NHL roster, and now it's up to 25. So I have to leave some players off anyway. So it works out. You know, hopefully the new game will have the updated 25-man roster, whatever it is now, instead of the 20-man roster. But that'll be good because they should have all the new players for the Bruins too. So, plus all the new players for the PWHL. But so I turned the injuries on the game against my female celebrities team, and Taylor Swift knocked out one of my players, Middlestat, I think. I think the game was like December 4th, and now he's out until December 30th. So it wasn't even a particular dirty hit. It was just Taylor Swift smashed him. I mean, it was a clean hit. There was no penalty, but he was injured for a while. So I have fun. But anyway, my diet's been fast and loose. I've gained a few pounds. This morning I was 270 after being down to 265, 266, something like that. I'm not going to worry about it until after New Year. I'll do the best I can with my blood sugar because I don't want that going crazy. I just had my A1C done and went from, I think it was 11.9 to 8.6. So, I mean, 8.6 is still bad, but obviously it's not as bad as 11 something. It should be down around 5 or 6, so I'm getting there. hopefully the holidays won't mess me up too much. You know, once the new year gets here, it's, you know, back to carnivore. But I made some fudge. It's actually keto fudge. And, you know, I figured if I'm going to be bad, at least be bad on keto, so at least it's not, you know, as bad as, you know, being bad with the cakes and the pies and the cookies. Although I'll probably get into some of them because my mom got some Christmas cookies. But basically what it is they have keto frosting. They got vanilla and chocolate frosting that's keto. It's not the greatest thing in the world because it is frosting, it is sugar, but it's not as much sugar as the regular cream, regular frosting. And I got some sugar-free peanut butter. You combine the frosting and the peanut butter and put it into, you know, your dish. Put it in the refrigerator for a few hours. And you got some keto fudge. And I mean, like I said, it's not the greatest. It's still going to spike your blood sugar a little bit, but it's not going to, you know, it's not going to kill you like a regular getting real fudge would. So, of course, again, my problem is portion control because I like have 2 or 3 big pieces of fudge, which isn't good, but again, it's better than having 2 or 3 pieces of regular fudge. So, but, you know, after the holidays, it's back to doing what I need to do. The real bad thing I got is I always got to have a thing of eggnog. So I got the good stuff, the eggnog with all the liquor in it. Did the whole bottle in one night. It's a small bottle. I mean, I think it was like a total of 2 cups, 2 big size cups, but my blood sugar spiked to over 500. I took a bunch of insulin and had it down relatively quickly, but I won't do that. You know, I only do that once during the holidays, so. I would have been better off just having a couple of rum and root beers, which I've had. So, anyway, this is almost an hour, and I think the last video was like 20 minutes, so this is going to be a real long one. Maybe I will separate it into 2 separate, part 1 and part 2. So, it won't be as bad, because like this one is almost an hour, so. I'll say good night. God bless you. Thanks for watching. If I don't do another one, have a Merry Christmas, and hopefully I'll do one before the New Year, but who knows. Happy New Year. God bless everyone, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.